behind some of the stories that the media have carried, you know, the whole sensational.
You think the perception is largely lower?
No, I'm not saying that the perception at times is not real, but I'm saying that the thing has been brought into an Hollywood situation, you know, some of the headlines that have been carried, stories.
But the residents did barricade the entrance to the community.
And let me say that it is not the first time it has been done. And again,
and the security forces 2 days later are still fighting with gunmen in the community.
And I am not denying I am not here defending the actions of a certain element, you know. What I'm saying is that we are where we are now, and we can't continue to demonize, and we can't continue. Let us say at the end of this, how is it we're going to restore a community that is rich in a lot of things, the culture of the community, the fact that it is a community that has contributed to the well-being of the country. Let us not condemn us.
I want to raise a statement that was made in the statement issued yesterday, a joint statement by the JLP and I believe the women's movement as well as Generation 2000. It said something to the phrasing, I think, said that the residents there are also being held hostage by a criminal network, criminal structure, I think it phrased. It seems almost as if the party is conceding after the fact that this was the case. How can that be the case?
There is, name me one community that cannot be seen in the same light. Some of us are bold enough to speak what we know to be true. Others hide under the disguise, pretending that everything is okay. I see glowing headlines that tells you that in order for one to access a community, you have to go and make an appointment with a don to go into a community. You have to leave your cell phone with a don. And I don't see that being sensationalized. I don't see that an issue is being made out of that.
This is impenetrable in comparison.
There is no criminality doesn't have style. It is spelt one way. So you can't look at it, whether it is big or it is small, it is still criminality. And the point I'm trying to make is that we have a problem. And the sooner we start putting colors to the problems and to deal with the issues that are there. And I'm saying to the country, we can change the face of what is happening, but recognize and respect that there are decent, law-abiding people within these communities, not just Tivoli, not just in Denham Town, but right across the corporate area, in many urban centers where these problems are escalating. It speaks to a much wider issue.
I don't think the point is so much that there isn't a problem. Yes. I think it's a point of comparison. It's a point, for example, that the former Police Commissioner Hardly Lewin made when he called Tivoli the mother of all garrisons. So I don't think the point really is that there's criminality here and there's criminality there, but there's criminality that can be dealt with. Perhaps the point so much is that there's criminality that can be dealt with in one place, but that, you know, requires the entire state in another.
I don't see it that way. Let us wait to see the dust settling from this whole situation, and let us look at what has come out of it. As I said before, we're talking about a community now that is in mourning, a community that is under siege, a community where people are hurting, a community where children are going now 3 days without food, a community now that needs not the anger and the wrath of the majority of Jamaicans, but a community that needs the support of the people through this difficult period. It has been a very, very difficult period, but it is a period that I believe that we can overcome, and we can learn a number of lessons from this experience. But there also has to be a sense of responsibility from those of us who continue to demonize the political process, but also there has to be a sense of responsibility coming out of a media that have sensationalized the situation, that has given credence to some things, that have carried some headlines, either to increase the viewing.
What situation is
you know there are instances where there have been headlines and stories that have been carried that cannot be substantiated, and we go on as is business as usual. Let us think about those people down there to say, how is it we can help? What is it we can do now to assist them? You know, if I tell you of some of the atrocities that has been brought to our attention over the last couple of days, that some of our women folks in Tivoli is going through, right? And we're going to be talking more about it. But just asking the people of Jamaica to remember the people there, to remember the fact that, you know, despite all that is happening, they are human beings.
I just want to close by asking you one question about your nephew. We understand that you lost a nephew who was shot and killed yesterday. Do you know the circumstances?
I don't know the circumstances under which he died, but again, it is my family's personal blood, but as their local representative, I can't be parochial at this point in time. I will have to share that grief with the many who have lost their lives. Some innocently, some don't know for what reason they have died, and for those who will have to live with this situation for a long time.
Can you clarify one thing for me before you leave? The security forces had said that the persons who were shot were mostly men, and today at the Jamaica House press briefing they said that we are all men. Are you clear about it? Can you give us any information about number of women and children who were shot and or injured?
I don't want to say much on that, because that is up for discussion. Because there are cases that I know that women have been shot, have been killed. And I say I don't want to say anything much on that. That will be dealt with at a different level.
Thank you very much. Desmond McKenzie here, the Mayor of Kingston and the Councillor